All right, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of The Writing Lair on this lovely October day. Today, as I'm recording this, is October 15th, 2020. Today is the 25th anniversary from the actual first date I had with my wife, Kimberly. So, hey, that's pretty cool. And how many guys out there can say they remember that? In fact, it's 25 years ago. I took her for a ride in a Jeep, my new Jeep, and I was feeling really cool. So we went out for lunch today and had a burger and some fries at Five Guys to celebrate our 25th date of, what would we call it, the first date anniversary or something like that. Anyway, today I just want to get on real quick and discuss a topic that comes up. A lot of people ask me, and so I thought I'd make a video about this because a lot of people ask me about the publishing process that I go through, and what takes place with that. And what a lot of people don't realize is I am actually self-published, which means I do it all myself. I don't have an agent. I don't have a publisher, a contract. Okay, I'm 100% my own boss when it comes to this. I'm an entrepreneur. The good thing is, if people don't realize it, then that means I must be doing something right. Because if it's obvious, then we got a problem. Anyway, I think my mic's a little too close to me. Anyway, so I'll tell you a little bit about publishing and self-publishing. So there's two kinds. There's self-publishing, and then there's what we call traditional publishing, and that's when you've gone through into the literary agent. And the process of traditional publishing can be quite the journey. And I chose, I got into the game kind of late. I could talk about how I should have followed my dreams. I should have listened to my heart when I was younger. Well, that's all water under the bridge, and that's fine. And I do have regrets. I'm almost 48 years old. And, The Summoning was published 4 years ago, but I started writing it like 9 years ago. So I was getting to it a little late in the game. It was, I didn't have time for the process, I guess. And so let me explain real quick what happens with traditional publishing. So an author writes a manuscript, okay? He gets it all written out, and then he has to do what's called a querying an agent. So there's all these agents out there, and you have to get their email address, and you have to send out your manuscript, and you send out a query letter to the agents, and if you're lucky, they write back and they're interested, and you go from there. They find a publisher, blah 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 blah. There's contracts and editing, and the publisher, once they agree to take your book, they can have all kinds of stipulations. The contract can have stipulations. The agent's usually going to take 15%. The publisher's going to take their cut. The bookstore's going to take their cut. So you have to be really clever. You have to pay attention to that contract, because it can mean the difference between a lot of money and just a little bit of money. I researched it all. I've looked into it. I've looked into traditional publishing. What I found out is the odds are astronomical. I'm not saying they're impossible. And if that's the route someone wants to go, I have no problem. I'm not complaining about traditional publishing. What I'm saying is I'm too old and I've got too many books to write. I've got all these ideas up here in my head, and I don't have time for agents and querying and astronomical odds. I'll give you an example, okay, of an astronomical odd. So I've got this this tweet on Twitter, and I screen captured it. Okay, this is a literary agent, and she meant this to be encouraging, okay? But imagine reading this, and you're an author who's sent out dozens and dozens and hundreds of query letters and keep getting rejected over and over and over. And then imagine reading this. Out of the maybe 10,000 queries I've received this year, I've only signed 3. 3! So if you sign with an agent, remember how insanely huge of an accomplishment that is. That we chose one out of the 10,000. We chose you because we believe in you and your work beyond all others. Okay, I read that, and I know she meant it to be encouraging, but I read that and I think, no. Okay, I don't have time for this. And more power to those who do. So I chose, in fact, I kind of stumbled across, I had been writing books, and I'd written this fantasy novel. I was about, 10,000 words into it, and I had plans that I was going to send the manuscript out to agents and stuff. And I just could never quite bring myself to begin that process because I just probably self-doubt and just doubting the odds and telling myself, hey, this is just never going to happen. Holy cow, someone let a herd of buffalo into my house. I think my daughter just got home from school. Not that she's a herd of buffalo. But anyway, I stumbled across accidentally the self-publishing process that you can do going through Amazon. And once I realized the potential, and I studied it out for about a day, and that night I wrote the first chapters of the summoning, and I promised myself that's it. No more fiddling around. No more excuses. You have an avenue to get your work out into the, get it out there and write your best and let it sink or swim. No more agents. No having to worry about an agent deciding you're worthy or not, or you're, a lot of them will say, oh, this is great work, but it's just not what we're looking for, that kind of stuff. So I was completely excited. I was like, yes, this is for me. I have complete creative control for starters. I can write the book about what I want. I can write it, my microphone's in the way of my finger. I can write what I want, as long as I want, as short as I want. The topic, the genre. I can put the scenes in I want. I don't have some agent, editor, publisher telling me to change this character to a woman or tone down the blood, or whatever. I have total creative control, and then I kind of enjoy the marketing part, so maybe it's a good fit for me. So it's funny because I will run into people, they'll say, hey, I've read your books and you're good enough. You could probably get published for real. And I'm like, I am published for real. No, I'm just kidding. It's a compliment when someone says that, but the reality is I am published for real. It's just a different kind. It's a different brand. I understand the stigma. Okay, I understand that there are people out there now, and I'm talking to other. The reason I'm doing this video is because I think there's probably people watching this who are contemplating doing something similar. So you do have to overcome that stigma that you're not as good or as worthy as other authors who are on the bookshelves at Barnes & Noble. Okay, let me give you an example, though, of a friend I have, and I won't say his name, but I actually have a friend who found an agent. He found a publisher, and he's traditionally published, and his book is in bookstores. Guess what? My book, The Summoning, which has been out for 6 years, outsells his book, and I would probably, I don't know what he got paid by his publisher, but I bet you I've made more money than he has. My book's not in bookstores. I've never done a big book signing with lines of people. I don't think he has either, but just because you get published by a publisher doesn't guarantee success. And that's my point, is The Summoning has been just as successful, and it's been more than successful than this friend of mine who is traditionally published. So just something to think about. But you have to overcome, back to what I was saying. You have to overcome this stigma that the reason you're self-published is because you couldn't find anyone to publish your books because you're not good enough. That might be the case in many situations. That probably is the reality, unfortunately. And that's the problem with self-publishing, is anyone can do it, especially nowadays with the technology we have. Anyone can do it, so you have to convince people that you're not just one of those anyones, that you're a professional. So, being an indie author, I like the word indie more than self-published. But for me, someone who just wants to write a book and self-publish it and they never do anything else with it, that's a self-published person, or that's someone who's self-published. To me, an indie author is someone who is treating it seriously, like a business. And so I consider myself an indie author. And there's nothing wrong with being the other thing, but I think that people need to start differentiating between the guy who goes out and publishes something just for fun and kicks and never took it seriously and still doesn't, compared to someone like me who is making and building a legitimate business out of it. So, does this thing need to be tilted up a little bit? So anyway, that's my little discussion about publishing, and that's some of the reasons I got into self-publishing. And this video probably wasn't as exciting for some of you, but a little update on where I'm at. Book 3 has been published I think we talked about this in the last video. I forgot. Back to publishing a little bit. Or not. Nah. I was going to mention something else, but I think I'll hold off on that. I'm getting long on time now. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. That's the episode for this week. There's not a whole lot going on, except for I do have all 3 books out. I am working on my next novel, and I am about 88,000 words into it now and plugging along. I have no idea when it's going to be finished, but in my mind it's close to being about 2/3 done. So stay tuned for more. I think next episode will be close to Halloween, and I kind of have a little special episode in my mind. I'm thinking about. I think I tilted it too much now. Anyway, sorry for the raw, unprofessional videos here from the writing layer. Maybe we'll get better over time. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for today. I've just got done working a 96-hour week. I had yesterday off too, and I had today off, and then I'm back at it tomorrow. So I just wanted to throw something together real quick and upload it, so that not too much time goes by. I hope some of you found this information helpful and interesting. And if you did, please like the video, subscribe, all that stuff. And, if you have any questions, reach out. Anybody out there thinking about writing and publishing, I encourage you to do it. I'm so glad I took that step. I'm so glad I just finally did it. It took me years. I wish I'd been doing it a lot sooner, but I'm glad I'm doing it now. And I'm happy to help anybody who's thinking about it or has questions about getting into the publishing game. And I think you should do it if you're thinking about it. So I think that's going to do it for now. I hope you're all doing well out there, and make sure to check out my Facebook page and all that other stuff. Anyway, all the self-promoting stuff. Click, like, subscribe, share, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. Okay. I'll do another video soon, and I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, happy reading out there.